Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Grif.
Baka.
What's up, guys? No, today
Yay.
he's
No.
out doing
Oh.
real life things like a real person, pretending that he is one of them.
Playing video games is a real life thing too.
It's true. It's true. But he's actually, out somewhere. So,
Like in the outside
yeah,
place,
like in the
with
outside
with
place.
that glowy thing in the sky and the stuff that blows. Ugh.
Yeah, he's out there somewhere. So, he will not be joining us today. But that's okay, because you've got us. And I guess the upside of that, I don't even know if that's an upside. I guess one of the side effects of that is that when we talk about what we played this week, it's pretty much a group thing. Because we played a lot of stuff together. We started a new D&D campaign this weekend, and that's gonna be something between Baka's character and
Talk to you
Chicken.
after that, afterwards, or after this, by the way.
Oh, yay! I'm DMing, so I get to make all of the calls and stuff, and I'm having to mediate because those two made characters that are gonna hate each other. So that's great. It's been so
It
good.
wouldn't be a game unless me and Chicken are competing in some way.
I know. Luckily, I've got Red and Cat as well playing, so Red's character is the slow-speaking friend of animals, and of course, I didn't know that really beforehand. So the first encounter is against rats, and I'm like, oh no, I'm sorry.
And you got this guy over here shillelaghing damn rat club squish.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Fred.
Yeah.
Club. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
And
it's
bashing their scrolls in, going, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
They're making
Yeah.
with you.
So that's been a thing.
A real thing.
I stole a golf outfit.
Yeah, he had to steal
From
it
a dead guy.
while Chicken's character
From a
was
dead guy.
Okay, look, the dude's been dead for 2 years. I don't think he's coming back for it.
You could ask for it.
I mean, I guess maybe if his wife found a necromancer.
See, this is the problem that I'm dealing with, is that Baka's character is a rogue and he likes to steal things and be, chaotic and stuff, and Chicken's character is a paladin who is not down with all of that nonsense.
He's a
So-
lawful
He's
neutral
very
paladin. He's a lawful neutral paladin. I abide by my god's rules.
Yeah,
not
but,
by
but
the-
you abide by rules and you respect other laws and stuff. That
No.
place like.
No. See, that's the difference. Is that with my character, if what he sees is injustice in the eyes of his god, he is willing to go against the laws
Well,
of
the
man.
general laws like don't kill, don't
Yeah.
steal.
That don't kill good people or innocent people. Bad people, I mean, they're considered bad or evil. You can go ahead and smite the shit out of them if you want.
Because we've got so many magic users in the game. I originally I was kind of leaning towards going towards the arcane trickster, just so I can have like mage hand and stuff and goof off.
Mm.
But I'm kind of leaning towards assassin now, because
Murdering
I can
people,
see-
definitely in the wheelhouse for Chicken's characters. Totally gonna be fine with it, I'm sure.
Hey, once I get level 3,
If-
I've already
well,
decided the oath I'm
if
taking. Go ahead.
If I take jobs that conflict with kind of what the party's going on, I figured it could also make more interesting roleplay.
Or you get smited and kicked
Well,
out.
it depends on who he takes jobs for. Like if it's like I need you to go kill this corrupt council member because he's stealing wages from the workers. My guy's going to be like, I will distract them. You go ahead and hit that side door and deal with business. Cuz he's lawful neutral. So he's willing to cross that line if it means helping the people in the lower half.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like just like my character gets approached, where it's like, hey, while you're traveling to this city.
Yeah, I mean that's cool and all. Like, I know we're getting into D&D stuff, and this is like everybody's like, okay, this is about video games. But just as an aside, I'm not gonna run a whole campaign for your character to do stuff by himself. I'm just saying. I will set up things for you, but it will not be your character goes off and does them on his own, because I'm not running a whole side campaign. You will have to convince the group to go with you, or they will have to convince you to go with them, or you guys amicably be part ways and somebody has to reroll. I mean those are your choices, basically.
I just thought maybe it would do some fun, creative little role play, because if I'm trying to kill someone and they get the same job but trying to guard them,
I'm not making a whole side campaign for one character. I get what you're saying, but it's a lot of work to homebrew a whole campaign anyway. and I've already got your overarching.
That makes it complicated because you're going to have character opposition, and one side has to win. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Like, at that point, you can't really continue on as a normal group. After that, it's like, oh yeah, we were on opposite sides. I almost killed you, but we're all good now. So we'll just move on to the next.
We'll discuss all of that later. In the video game realm, though, I think I'm almost done with Mass Effect. Which
almost.
I need to be. Like, I'm carrying so much emotional trauma right this second because of that game. I need to have a resolution, and I am afraid that it's not going to resolve the way that I want it to, because I know everybody was originally disappointed with the ending, but I think I just need a resolution in my life. Because I'm just starting this D&D stuff, so I've got all of these conflicts that are in the works, and then I've got this massive conflicts, and I just need something to resolve. Something has to clear up so that I can live my friggin' life, because I get too attached to fictional people. And I feel like we did something else as a group, but I can't remember what it was. And I know we did wild
World
stuff.
of Warcraft, like normal.
I feel like there was something else that we did as a group. Maybe there's not.
No, Monday we didn't do anything. Tuesday we didn't.
You guys did stuff together,
Thursday,
though.
right?
You've been trying out a beta.
Yeah.
Some Pokemon Unite, and yeah, we did Diablo 2 beta.
Do you like it?
All right, Baka, go ahead. Tell me. I'm a fanboy, so I'm really biased. Baka is more of the neutral ground. He can kind of give you a better idea of what he thought about it, and then I'll do my tangent.
When I went into it, I forgot a lot of buttons.
That happens.
Yeah. Like I was like, I could have swore that you ran faster in town. I forgot you have to hold control down to run. I don't know. There's things in it that I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. This is neat. I like a lot of the graphical updates to it. I think overall they've done a pretty good job with the graphics and updating and everything. There's a few monsters that look a little bit weird, like the spiders for some reason.
Ooh, the spiders
they look
are
weird. Why do they look weird? Like
Yeah.
the update didn't transfer well? Or?
They just look off. For
they
some reason.
look chunky, is I think the word you're looking for,
Them
because
chunk spiders.
the original ones, they're kind of they got the bigger bodies and they've got the skinnier legs, but these ones look a little bit thicker in just about every dimension.
They look like they went with more of a tarantula style.
Yes.
I
Instead of
don't need that in my
a
life.
skinnier arachnid.
Don't keep it.
I also forgot how quickly the sorcerer runs out of mana.
Surprise.
Until you start getting your actual gear, and then you just sit in the back and just go. Pew, 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 pew. I think overall it seems to be pretty good. The one of the issues I ran into though was I made a game and then passworded it, and so someone else still got in.
Huh.
All right, Baka. I'll go ahead and tell you now, but that was me. I was on the wrong character.
Oh, okay. I was just like,
Okay, that's way better. Why didn't you
It
tell me?
was-
I made the game only
I was
to
just
two
fucking-
people, so it's like, okay, I'm just gonna leave this game and make a new one.
Yeah.
But because back in Diablo 2, I ran into that issue a lot.
Really?
Because of how easy it was for the BattleNet servers and stuff to get hacked by all these people.
Yes.
Yeah, I ran into it a lot. Like I was trying to run a friend through on a new character through the game in normal mode, and kept having someone pop in on their sorceress coming in to kill us and try to just camp us basically. So I got another friend who gave me a ring that was a hacked item.
I had plenty of those too. No judgment.
Well, it was the only way to deal with this fucking person, because no matter how many times we swapped games, made a new game, did a brand new password, whatever, they kept popping in and getting in. And the ring that I got to borrow for a little while, any of the elemental spells, the fire, lightning, ice that the sorcerers can do, it would give me health instead. So, yeah, she would just fling out whatever spells, and I would just charge up and as the wolf druid and go, hap, you're dead.
Get out of my game, damn it. This
is
what you reduced me to. Oh. Well, hopefully that will not be a problem.
that was my first thought when I guess apparently chicken popped in the game. I was like,
yeah, that was my bad.
Okay.
I didn't realize that I had to choose my character at the menu before I could join the game, and then I was like, what the fuck? I didn't want to play this character. It didn't even give me a choice. Oh, I have to select it back at the menu. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I'm also disappointed that they didn't have the necromancer in there, because we kept getting a lot of really good gear for necromancers. It's like,
dude, I was playing my other druid this morning, my speedrunning druid, and I got a skeleton head offhand that had 3 to raise skeleton, 2 to skeleton mastery, and 1 to amplify damage, repairs itself, and it had teeth charges on it and a shitload of other stats, and I'm just like, are you serious?
Why is this not in the game?
And I can't keep this thing. Like, that right there is a summoning necro 100. You get raised skeleton, mastery, and amplified damage. Like, that is exactly what you want in a summoning necro build.
I would
And I'm
assume
so
that
sad.
this is because it's beta and not everything's in the beta right now.
Yeah,
not
the
all the
assassin
classes.
and necro are the only two.
Yeah, assassin, necromancer are out at the current moment.
Okay.
But we kept getting shit dropping for them.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Taunting you.
It's like we can't even play these fucking things.
Yeah, I love the necro. Like, I can't wait for D2 because, like, I've been playing it on and off for the last 20 years, and I've probably got 1,000, 2,000 hours in that damn thing, at least. And I don't know, like, I've played it so much that my brain is actually just completely confused and it's not connecting properly. Like, whenever I turn off the fancy graphics, it's like, oh, this is Diablo 2. Like, I feel this. And then I turn the graphics on and it's like,
I don't know what buttons to push.
this is Diablo 2. And it feels like the same game, but my brain is like, this feels like Diablo 2, but it doesn't look like Diablo 2. And it's
your brain kind of tricks you into you're doing Diablo 3.
Yeah, like, it's not making that, like, right connection. It's like, you're playing D2, but it doesn't look like D2. And then I turn it back on. It's like, okay, this feels like it's supposed to. Swap it back, and it's like, it looks so good. But, like, my brain is just not, you're not playing D2. You're playing something else. But, I'm having a blast with it. I am enjoying it. I'm hoping that I can finish Act 2 on at least one character. So that because I would like to see the whole way through. That's why I'm just burning through it on my Fisher Druid, which is what I speedrun with it. I can also tell how much different I've played because me and Baka are just kind of casually working our way through it, and I'm Like, I know my other character, I'm just beelining it because I know exactly where to go and the routes. And when you come out of it, you're supposed to go to the right from the staircase because that's the direction that the map layouts are always developed in, and all these other tricks that you can play with and things like that. And so I've got the Heraldric Cube. Damn, I closed my game. Fuck, I was in the maggot layer. Fuck. Worst thing about playing it, since it's a multiplayer only beta right now, is every time you log out, the map's reset.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a pain in the ass, because every time you get disconnected or something like that, your map resets. So that's a pain. Also, there's a tiny hint of lag that I would much prefer playing solo games or offline games, or if I'm gonna play online, it needs to have that lag removed, because I swing and then like a half second later, then the monster dies. It's like, ugh. It feels off. But the game looks so good, and it plays exactly like it should for D2. So I already bought my copy because, unfortunately, I've been a fanboy for the last 20 years, and I've been screaming for this thing for... Like, right after D3 came out and everybody realized what it was, I was like, this just isn't the same. And I've needed like an upgraded, fancier version of D2 since then. So finally, I'm getting it. Then I can stop buying Blizzard games. I mean, there's nothing else that I want from them. Once I get D2, that's it.
I mean, that
makes
sense.
Yeah, nothing else in their library gets me. I mean, once I finish Wrath of the Lich King Classic, when they come out with that, and I'm done with all that, Arthas is dead, that's pretty much the end of my Blizzard career. Like, there's nothing else I'll ever play again.
Yeah. If they make it that far, I mean, to be honest,
if they make it that
subscription
far,
numbers are already dropping, and with retail not doing the numbers that they would like for it to, you know, it's just one of those things where how much longer are they going to fund everything before they're like, all right, shut it down, everyone.
I think they'll keep Classic up because, honestly, I think Classic is their moneymaker right now. I bet more people play Classic than they do retail right now.
I'm sure you can find numbers on that somewhere. I haven't looked into it, but
you can't, because you can't set. Only Blizzard knows that, because
they just show subscribers instead of...
Yeah, both subs are counted as one, so they're not separating their community. They're just keeping it together, and they're keeping the numbers behind the scenes. Like, this is how many subs we have, and back there they're like, this is how many people are playing log into Classic on a normal basis. This is how many log into retail on a normal basis. Yeah. I'm sure there's some cross-pollination, but I guarantee the people that play Classic stick to Classic. The people that play retail play both.
There's definitely cross-pollination. I mean, Foxy does it, and a couple of our other guildies are back and forth, but they generally are raid logging right now for retail, where it's like, all right, I sign on for raid nights, and that's it. But they're on Classic like all the time.
Yeah, I mean... It's because Classic is just better. I mean, if you want to play like an RPG, a game that you actually feel like you can progress in, that's not some horrible treadmill that you feel like you can't get off, that's retail, because you're just constantly in this cycle where it's log on, do your world dailies, grind out a couple of mythics, get your +1 item level piece of gear, and then log off and wait for the next patch. And this one, it kind of feels like, yeah, you do your stuff and you get your gear and then you can raid log, but you still need to upgrade that stuff, get enchants and things like that, and you actually feel like you've hit a ceiling to where you're as good as you're going to get, and then you wait for the next phase, and then you kind of start that cycle again. You don't got to log on for dailies or things
It's just
like
a different kind of treadmill is the thing. It's not sign on, do all of these, you know, world dailies and things like that so that you can fill up your Lego gear, because that's really what it is with that. You're having to do them so that you can fill up your Lego gear.
Yeah, but you're not chasing that +1 item level or that specific, like that
no,
item
I'm
level
about
style
retail.
of gear.
In retail, they have what everybody in retail refers to as Lego gear, because all of your gear has stats, and you're trying to plug things into those stats with every daily and every, you know, resource gathering thing that you have to do versus
special abilities from your covenants and things like that, grinding out rep, because the next phase the rep that you grinded is going to be bad and you got to change over to get a couple percentage increase.
But I mean, it's not exactly like Burning Crusade is the pinnacle of role playing or anything like that either. It's just a different kind. I mean, with alchemy specifically, it's like I can't get anywhere with it because I need to have 1,000,001 resources so that I can do this stupid make all of these potions you already know how to make until it pops up that you've learned how to randomly make a new one, because that's a fun mechanic.
You could do that, or you can get exalted with the 3 reps and then buy the recipes. Which I told you about that before.
I mean, it's still, either way, it's still a treadmill. It's just a different kind of treadmill. Which one do you find more enjoyable?
A lot of people apparently enjoy the classic
might be easier at this point.
Probably. Because, yeah. But, regardless, that's a lot of WoW talk. Is there anything else that you guys have been doing this week?
No, there's just the Pokemon Unite a bit, some WoW.
I got my itch for Star Wars Old Republic again.
Did you scratch it?
Playing with the ship battle some more.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I understand that. I have a craving to play another game, but I'm in too deep with Mass Effect right now to swap to something else, especially since it's another really big game. So,
I wonder what game that is.
You don't even know.
Wow, we need to do the heroics still, and I need to farm gold. I just kind of, after farming the gold for so long, I'm a bit burned out and want to break.
I think we're all about there, but let's talk about some news then, so that we're not stuck talking about our grindy stuff for the rest of the day. I mean, we're already like 20 minutes into the show.
Oh, that's not too far. That's usually about where we're at when we're talking about the shit we play.
Oh, but we got started late, so we gotta go.
Yeah.
What do we want to jump in with? There's like a few things of particular interest to us, and then some fluff stuff.
I want to jump on the Halo thing real quick. So, as I'm sure some people have seen, or if not, Halo Infinite will not launch with co-op.
Or Forge.
Yeah. So, Forge, I would kind of understand, since
I think they delayed it with another version. Was it Halo 4 that they delayed?
It might have been. It's going to be 3 months of no co-op and no Forge before they're planning to launch it. I mean, I guess they have a window that they're expecting it to be. Actually, it says it won't launch until Season 2 at the earliest. So that's, I guess, a guesstimation. Theoretically, 3 months. I know I can hear Oak arguing from the movie theater because he's super wound up about this. Like, he doesn't understand why it's a big deal to people and everything. But the flip side of that is he's a solo player and has been. Like, he plays Halo by himself for himself. And that's fine. There's a large group of people that do that. But our group of people, and when I say our, I mean the 3 of us in red, play this as a group because it is a fun game to co-op. Like, yeah, Master Chief, one-man army, gotcha, done that, that's cool. I prefer to play it with my friends because it is hilarious with them. And to not have something as integral as the co-op right at launch is weird to me. It's on Game Pass, though, which is another thing that we can kind of touch on here in a second. But it being on Game Pass means I don't have to worry about when I'm going to pick it up. Whenever they fix this, I can just play it. We all have Game Pass. That's fine, whatever. It just seems like a strange thing to have to omit. And I guess it's because they don't know exactly how it's going to work yet, since it's supposed to be, this is like the first open world Halo where you can go and do whatever and get to the story whenever, I guess. I guess.
Man, like I'm gonna, like I told Grif this example earlier, like Halo 1 when it came out, it had co-op, it had multiplayer, it had the game modes and things like that, and it was one of the best first-person shooter games ever released. Now, could you imagine if when they came out with Halo 2, they only released the campaign and made it only single player and said the co-op and multiplayer will be out later?
Yeah.
Like, that would have killed the series right there.
But that was also a different time when you couldn't get away with shipping them separately to start with. This is now...
Yeah, there was no... That was like the dawning of... well, not DLC, but...
Well, I mean, we've gotten to a point where we're used to day one patch and things like that, and things launching in this unfinished state, which I think... It's interesting they were talking...
It is unfinished. I feel like it is, well, and I also think they're using Game Pass as a crutch to release their game, too. They're like, whatever. We could just put the solo campaign on Game Pass because nobody's going to pay $60 for a campaign.
Oak
a
is
single
super
player
convinced that them bringing back Joseph Staten as the head creative is going to solve all of Halo's problems. The thing is, they brought him back at a point where it had already been in production. And now we're launching the game, and he's like, yeah, you know, our number one priority is making sure that whatever we ship, whenever we ship it, it meets the right quality bar. Okay, why are you shipping it if it's not ready, though? Like, you want to make sure that it meets a certain standard, but it may not be the standard that means this game is finished. This game is launchable. That's what happened with Cyberpunk, and look at how everybody turned on it. Don't launch, like, they set a release date. That's the problem, is they set a release date before the game was even close to ready, and then they showed off that horrible stuff last year, and everybody lost their fucking nuggets about it. And they're like, oh shit, let's put it back in the oven for a little bit. And it has not been in the oven long enough to be ready, but it's mostly ready and sort of developed, so we can just throw it out there on Game Pass and let you test it out, and then we'll fix it for you.
It's like the cake we made for Nugget's birthday. The outside was done, and the inner part was not, and they're just like, well, we'll just cut the inner part out, take that, and put it in the oven for a little bit longer, and you could have this shallow piece of what we have. Like, it's just the solo campaign, it's just the outer crust part. You can enjoy this for a little while, and we'll get you the rest eventually. It's like, I'm gonna play it. I have Game Pass. I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and I'm gonna be critical of the story. Like, I mean, first of all, not being able to play co-op is already leaving a pretty bad taste in my mouth, because I love playing Halo with my friends, which I'm not allowed to do now, apparently.
I don't have a whole lot of, like, I was kind of on the fence, like, I was in the middle going, I don't know if this is going to be good or bad, but based on some of the things being said, like, he mentioned as far as with the campaign and whatnot, it's a wonderful, wide open, non-linear take on a Halo campaign, and it's going to offer so much more flexibility to take down banished bases from all kinds of different angles. You're telling me right now, you filled it with a bunch of extra shit that I don't need. You're gonna basically bloat the game with these kind of base takeovers, and you decide how you want to do it, which means they can probably be reset, and things like that. You're putting a bunch of extra stuff in the game that we don't need. And is it at the cost of stuff that we kind of expected? Like Forge and or a co-op campaign? I mean, like, you can't figure out how to make it work with multiple people for some reason? I don't know.
This is kind of sounding like Far Cry game.
Ha! I was just thinking that.
Well, but
going,
that's the thing,
you know, this is a little bit like Far Cry, and Far Cry doesn't have multiplayer just because it doesn't seem like it would work really well. So I think we're falling into the same boat with this.
Well, and that's part of what they continued on with the whole, like, you know, that's complicated when you think about a save system and all the technology that's needed to drive this more non-linear experience. So in a co-op scenario, it's even more complicated. Okay, so the problem is you decided to make Halo something that it's not. And that made you sacrifice the things that it should be. You went from going, this is a single player or multiplayer experience, it's a story that we're telling you a great story, to, we need to fit in with everybody else because what made us good is not good enough anymore?
Yes. Like, and I feel like that's one of the biggest problems that 343 has tried to do with Halo. It's like when they took over, they just lost the identity of what Halo was. It's like Bungie took that with them. Mm-hmm. They were like, hey, this... Because Halo was one of the biggest FPSs ever released. Halo 2 built on that foundation. Halo 3 built on that foundation. Halo 4, okay, you had something there, and then for some reason you decided to completely throw it away and start over from scratch. And Halo 5 was just something really different.
Yeah.
And here we are with Halo Infinite. I mean, Reach and ODST were two totally different ones, but they still had that Halo feel. Great story, like completely different stories, but great storytelling. Mm-hmm. Like, I enjoyed the shit out of both of those games, and they were different from your mainline series. But again, Bungie knew what they were building and followed what made Halo great. And 343 has just kind of been throwing things at the wall, hoping something sticks.
That feels a lot like what they're doing. If you look at how things changed between 3 and then 4 and 5, and now we're going to do Infinite, which, by the way, I only just realized I was reading some of the comments and everything. I forgot that we don't actually have a release date for this game yet, even. So you're telling us that it's going to be 3 or 4 months out from the launch of it, but you don't even actually have a launch date yet?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be in December somewhere, the holidays of 2021.
But if you don't have a launch date yet, it means that you don't know when it's going to be ready. You still have no idea when it will be ready enough to at least be half-baked. You're just going to try to throw it out there and hope that the Halo community will be more forgiving than other communities have been on other games that have been expected. And I don't think you're going to get it. I mean, we at this point as gamers, we've all been burned so many times that the goodwill for these companies that have good names is really starting to wear off before these games even launch.
Tell me about it. Like, I mean, there's not much faith I have in companies anymore at all these days. I'm trying to think of... Go ahead.
Indie developers are doing better than the big companies now.
Well, because indie developers have more stake in how well their games come out out of the gate. They don't have a reputation money to fall back on. If their game sucks day one, nobody's gonna buy it. That story is gonna spread like wildfire, and they will never sell. Because they're small, they have to care more. But games or companies like 343 that's got Microsoft money behind them, and a series like Halo, which is a franchise that they have a good feeling is gonna sell relatively well anyway.
It will not sell, I guarantee that.
Well, and that's the thing is we were talking about it. The multiplayer is going to be free to play and separate from the campaign. The campaign game is coming out with missing features. So
and the campaign game is on Game Pass.
Well, it's on Game Pass, and that's what I was going to say is why do you want me to buy it? Like, what is my incentive to spend the $60 on this game? Because I don't see an incentive because it's on Game Pass, and we know that almost all of the first-party Microsoft games are indefinitely on Game Pass. So this campaign is likely to be indefinitely on Game Pass. Why would I ever spend the money to buy it by itself? What
to support
are you
343
selling me on?
But you're not really getting anything for your $60.
I got a feeling that they're focusing more on the multiplayer.
Oh yes, that's where their money's going
to be. They're going to nickel and dime the aesthetics of everything. And you want access to the Hayabusa armor? Give us $20.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it'll probably be like that. They'll probably be less unlocking stuff the old-fashioned way, especially since they've detached it from the campaign. So, because Hayabusa originally was unlocked through the campaign.
Through the skulls, baby.
Yeah.
You gotta find all them skulls.
Yeah, I was wearing Hayabusa when I met you.
Hell yeah, Hayabusa. I think I wore the Hayabusa. No, I didn't wear the helmet.
No, you were wearing the one with the little...
No, not the shoulders. I think I wore the... No. I didn't wear any of the Hayabusa.
You wore the katana. You were wearing, like, the chest piece because you had the katana. And I think that was the only piece of Hayabusa you had on.
Yeah.
But yours was a lot more mixed and matched. I liked the full look of it, but... Regardless, stuff like that is now, going to be a pay for or an unlock through the multiplayer somehow if you can. But I imagine a lot of it's going to come from, it's probably going to be a storefront similar to something like Fortnite because we've seen how successful that is and how you can make money off of things like that. I just don't know if the Halo community is going to be the one to spend the money like that, No. Fortnite was a real singularity.
The Halo community is not kids.
Well, is it? Especially now that it's going to be free to play. I think you'll see an influx of people that wouldn't normally be playing it, but it also has to compete with things like Splitgate, which is what Oak's been playing a lot of, which is going to be in beta for a long time from what I understand.
Yeah, they said that because of how unbelievably popular that the Splitgate beta has been, it's going to stay in beta indefinitely. Not like forever, but they're leaving the beta open now to bring in more people, which, it's smart.
Which, Halo is going to have to look at contending with that, too. Just because you have a franchise name attached to your game does not, at this point, mean that it will guarantee success now. It's not like, 10, 15 years ago where you were going to win if you were Halo or if you were Call of Duty. You've got all of these things to compete with, including other free-to-plays that are more well-established. it's just going to be hard to get into that market. And I guess they're being smart about it by making the multiplayer free to play and separate from the game, so you don't have to buy the $60 game to get it.
Well, they have to. If they want to compete into the multiplayer world now, they have to make it. And what I find ironic about that is that they are so done with the multiplayer part of it that it's already ready to be released, and the campaign has suffered for it. So again, like the history of many games, the campaign suffers for the multiplayer.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Call of Duty.
It's gonna be something to see when this game actually launches. How much it changed from the first, thing that they showed us where everybody freaked out and went, "Oh my god, please no," to let's hire in this guy that used to work for us and let him be in charge again, to what actually comes out. Like Oak, I'm trying to get Oak's opinions in because this is something that's very important to him, and we've had a lot of conversation about it recently. He's very hopeful because of Joseph Staten. He wrote the Halo Bible. My question is, how much does it matter that old lore is still tied in when they've really kind of just cut ties with anything that was before Halo 4? Like 343 went, that's Bungie. We don't care as much.
And I feel so like I don't even know where they're gonna go with the story. Like we're back on a Halo. Okay, cool. Or is somebody trying to rebuild it, or are we trying to re-destroy the flood?
We're gonna be chasing Cortana again. Like, we know that. We found
chasing
the Cortana clone,
Cortana,
and so now we're gonna try to, I don't know, put back Cortana Prime or some shit.
I don't fucking know. Maybe this new Cortana will eat the old Cortana and will become Cortana 2 or some shit. Like, I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I'm gonna play it day one it comes out. I'm gonna fucking play it. I'm gonna beat the hell out of it, and I'll talk about it on the podcast. Not spoiler wise, but my opinion wise. So we'll see.
I wonder. Okay, part of my thought process too is Forge is not going to be out at launch, but Forge is not part of the going to be packaged in with the campaign part, right? It'll be packaged in with the multiplayer because Forge is to edit the multiplayer maps. Or, I'm gonna put that on a back burner and see what happens with it, because I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say just hold that one till later.
Oh my god.
Till later. All right. We've spent the
Yes,
last 20 minutes talking about Halo.
I know, which is a game that we all used to really love and is now questionable as to whether or not we will continue to love it. There is a franchise that is getting a possible reboot that I really love, and I hope I do not discontinue. Like, I hope my love for it continues. This week at Gamescom, there will be a reveal for a new Saints Row. Now,
reboot.
Yeah, it's gonna be a reboot. Is that a for sure thing? Well, yeah, it says rebooting. Yes, they're gonna reboot it.
Yeah, I was about to say, it literally says it's the symbol with rebooting.
And I mean, I'm fine with that, because after Saints Row 4, you have literally, and I've talked about this on the show, there's literally nowhere else for you to go. I mean, the Saints are running literally the universe.
You power creeped your story mode. Like, you went so far.
Fun though.
Like, you can't go that far off into the realm and then expect people to reel it back in. It's like, dude, you gave us superpowers and flying, and you expect us to go back to driving cars?
Yeah.
Nah, I want my running up buildings and flying.
I will miss that. I will 100% miss it, because I'm sure they won't give it to us.
Start over again, which is fine. Like, I mean, as long as they give us good story, good mechanics, let's rock and roll.
They're gonna have to do like all new characters and everything.
Well, rebooting means you theoretically could go back to the start and go again. The problem with that is how far removed Saints Row 3 and 4 were from Saints Row 1. Because even between 1 and 2, there was a pretty big difference. And then Saints Row 2 to 3 had another huge leap. And then 3 and 4 were 3 and 4 felt like the two consistent sequels. Because they were similar in tone and everything, and it had really, the series felt like it had found its place in what it was supposed to be. It wasn't trying to be GTA anymore, which is what Saints Row 1 is.
GTA 0.5. Yeah, they moved away from that.
So I'm kind of wondering, you can reboot it. Do you reboot it knowing what you know now, going, Saints Row only works because it's kind of silly? And we need to
Yes.
make it self-aware and ridiculous and things like that, and not try to take itself as seriously as it did. Like, it was still weird for, for when Saints Row first came out, but it was not as kooky weird.
I think Saints Row was the perfect... Saints Row 3 was the perfect balance of real and crazy.
Yeah.
Saints Row 4 took it into space. They definitely
Saints
went
Row
a little
4
further
is like,
out.
okay, Saints Row 3 was crazy. Let's turn this shit up to 11 and see what happens.
Yeah, like they were like, oh shit, it snapped off. What is that?
so
14,
good.
15? Oh shit. Oh man, I think we went a little too far. But the game was fun. It did well enough.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of need to bring it back to 3, where you can get those people who don't want something so crazy, but you still leave that in there, where you got some GTA vibes, but you have also a lot more chaotic version of GTA, where it's more fun. You get a little bit more wild in it, more funny aspects to it,
Yeah.
not just GTA, where it's like all serious all the time.
And like I've looked at several different articles about this little blurb, because this is, we won't get our actual announcement till this week, but it runs the gamut. People are like, remaster 1 and 2 and give me that. And some people are like, they need to stick with the formula from 2. And others are like, give me Saints Row 3 again. It is just all over the freaking place, man. And I think one of the concerns that is valid is how sanitized is it going to be. Because we already know they pulled some things out when they did the Saints Row 3 remaster for PC, and that was the remaster that got ported to the Switch, where they had pulled the dildo bat and it was no longer available. And like, how much scrubbing are you going to do on this series? Because it does need to be, in order for Saints Row to be successful, it does need to be slightly crass. It doesn't have to be completely over the top. The dildo bat was wonderful, but if you did not have that, I kind of understand. It wouldn't be the end of my love for the series. But if you took everything out and just made it completely sterile because we need to be incredibly
if
PC,
you do
that's
that,
not that
you're
game.
going too far to GTA. You can't do that.
Well,
You
GTA
have
is
to
not
keep...
sterilized either. I mean, Trevor Phillips.
Yeah, but there's no dildo bats. It's all normal weapons and melee weapons.
Well, yes.
There's no
GTA's
kookiness.
craziness comes from the characters and some of their habits, Trevor.
Yeah.
But
again,
that,
he's more realistic than some
true.
of the other ones
He's
who are
very believable as a complete psycho.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
Scooter
It
buddies.
needs to be a certain mix of how crazy and how crass can we get, but it's okay if we clean it up a little.
And to be fair, it's Embracer Group, THQ Nordic, who bought this Deep Silver, and they gave it to Deep Silver, so they're the ones that are doing it. Studio Volition.
Yes. Volition's the one that did 3 and 4.
So what else have they done? Let's find out.
I don't know. You would think that it's got a very memorable beginning for when I think it's the Volition frame comes up at the beginning.
Oh, it's Deep Silver
loud.
Volition. Okay, so it's just Deep Silver.
It's so loud. But I don't remember seeing that on anything else, so I don't know.
List of Volition games. Descent and Free Space, Summoner. Oh wow, they did Summoner? Oh my god.
No, now you know.
Sorry. I played that game years ago. It was rough. It was a dated game. Do not get me wrong. I forced myself to finish it because I enjoyed it. Oh wow, there's a second one. All right. The Punisher, Saints Row 2. Wow, they did all of the Saints Row?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been the same company.
It is.
They figured out where they wanted to go with it, though. I feel
then that's good.
I feel like the reboot
will
be like, let's go back to the start and correct the mistakes that we made.
Yeah, I think that's good then. I thought it was somebody else who or THQ Nordic bought the series and then gave it to somebody else, but no, if Deep Silver if THQ bought the whole company and is letting them do another Saints Row, I think you're in a good spot. I'm pretty sure this company, who has been doing it for the last 12, 13 years, knows what Saints Row is and what made it successful.
I wonder if they'll have co-op and character customization.
I mean, you kind of,
I would
with Saints Row,
hope so.
I feel like at this point you have to put in, that was one of the mistakes from before, is there was no character customization for the first Saints Row. Your co-op character was a clone of the main character. I do want
Was there co-op in 3?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
I know there
4.
was in 4.
No, I started a co-op campaign. This was my first brush with how Saints Row was going to go for me. I started a co-op campaign for Saints Row 2 with Baka, and you wake up in this, like, I can't remember if it's, you're in jail. I want to say you're in jail or something. You wake up after your character customization is done, and I wake up and look at this dude that is giant and made of, like, emerald, essentially. He's like a gem guy.
That was like 3 or 4.
No, you did that in Saints Row 2 as well.
Baka's like, I don't even have 2.
You did.
I've only got
you
2
borrowed
on...
it from where you worked when we were both in
Oh,
Texas.
it was that long ago.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Baka, it was that long ago.
And the only reason I remembered it is because I made a relatively realistic character, and then because you don't see your friend's co-op character until both of your characters are waking up. And he was, like, in the bed next to, like, over, one. And I was like, holy shit, what is that? Is that you? And he's like, yeah, that's me. I was like...
Did I give a British accent?
Yes. I think you did. I know you did in Saints Row 4. You gave him the British accent, but you toned it down. Like, you modulated it down all the way, so he sounded like a very British devil. Wearing an Uncle Sam outfit. Yeah. I remember all of your characters. They're very memorable. Okay, fine. Saints Row is something that I love. Let's talk about a series that you guys love. Maybe more, a lot, definitely 100% more than me. Because there was a lot of Pokemon talk this week too.
Oh God. Man, I keep forgetting that these articles are like, yeah, let's spend another fucking 80 minutes talking about this. All right. Because I'm super excited for what they showed off for Pokemon Arceus, I think.
I think it's Arceus?
Arceus.
Is it Arceus? I will confirm that in just a second.
Well, just tell us what you like about it.
First of all, everybody's been asking for an open world Pokemon style game, which we're finally getting, which they announced a while ago, January 28th of next year. I'm a huge fan of how they're making the characters and the Pokemon battling style interact with the world. Nothing is battle sequenced, which Red was talking about the other night. He's so excited for that. Like, that looks so good on how they're going to do it. I'm super excited. Like, I don't know how they're going to do the gyms or whatnot. Hopefully they go back to the original style where you have to battle the gym leaders and whatnot instead of just doing something.
No, they did that in
Wise.
Sword and Shield. Like, you actually had to go and fight the gym leaders.
Okay, good. I'm glad they went back to that style.
So Sun and Moon, where it's like, yeah, well, we're just going to give you a test to go beat the shit out of this giant version of a Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't care for that. But also the way they are changing your Pokedex, you don't get you don't get the entry by just catching the Pokemon. You actually have to do different objectives with the Pokemon in order to get more information on it. Like, you got to sneak up on it or capture it like that, or you could battle it and get it low, or different things. They haven't showed off entire. Maybe I would say maybe there's something like a mechanic, but maybe you have to watch it or something, watch its eating habits or things like that. Scout it so that you can get more information on it.
God, that's a lot of work.
Well, I think it's just more interesting. It makes you more interactive with the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Instead of just, capturing it. You can actually visually watch it in its natural habitat, and that's how you fill out your Pokedex, because that's technically what it is. It tells you the information. It's just you're filling it out this time because it's history
Right.
style, instead of it's just like, hey, look at this, and then your Pokedex, which is your cell phone, automatically knows all the information for it and just tells you. So you have to write it out instead of just having it at your fingertips, which is nice. The water battling looks so cool. The traversal system. Also, certain Pokemon can become enraged and attack you.
Oh, that sounds mean.
Yeah, and if you get attacked by a Pokemon and get knocked out, you get sent back to the Pokemon Center. Which, as Red made a good point, wouldn't it just be a normal center, but I guess they're just going to send you back to the Pokemon Center. Nurse Joy can heal you just as well as she can heal dinos.
Dino.
Pokemon.
Okay. I mean, some of them look like dinosaurs, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I didn't watch anything on the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Shining Diamond, because I'm not interested in it at all.
No, those were some of the ones that I had. I could never finish them.
People are upset that they're full price. I think that's the main takeaway from those two, which I don't understand why anybody's surprised. Like, that's just the MO with these games. Is
I mean, it's not like they're just gonna like, oh well, we just took the game and ported it over to the Switch. No, like they got graphic overhauls and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, of course they're full price. Plus, it's how they've released a lot of the previous ones that they've done that too. I don't understand why you're shocked. Shocked Pikachu meme would be appropriate here.
Yes.
Did they announce anything new for your Unite thing that was exciting?
Still no Blastoise. They introduced Blissey, which is a new support, and then announced 2 new Pokemon. A pig one that I can't remember the name of, and Sylveon, which is the fairy version of Eevee.
Oh.
Those
I want my motherfucking Squirtle.
I know you do. I know.
Just gotta keep holding on,
save
man.
my coins for it.
Keep holding on. It'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
It's just weird because he was in the beta.
Oh, I know what they're holding out for, and so do you.
What?
The mobile version of Pokemon Unite.
Oh, they'll launch it as a mobile,
All you'll have
Pokemon.
to do is register for the Pokemon Unite, and you'll get Squirtle for free. You'll get Blastoise for free. I mean, that's how you get a bunch of people to register for your mobile version of the game, so that 1, boosts your numbers, and 2, it kind of gets people interested in it. Like, you'll be able to play it on the Switch too. They just want people to be like, go look at this. Everybody go look at this. And then you get Blastoise for free. It's simple. It's easy. You just go sign up. You get Blastoise for free. You're good to go.
You're probably not wrong.
It's a high demand Pokemon, and
yes.
They know how to market. So,
I mean, they got the other 2 Kanto starters in there. So.
Exactly, it's just a matter of time.
What else did they talk about at that? Anything else exciting?
That was pretty much it. Like I said, the Brilliant Diamond.
Oh, well, they're releasing a Switch to go with the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
Oh, are they? Neat.
It's one of the lights.
One.
Yeah, the Switch Lite.
I gotcha.
Which I think that's the first, or one of the only dark colored light options. Because I think the rest of them are
nice.
Pretty bright and stand outy. I could be wrong about that. I'm sure somebody will yell at me in comments and whatnot. That's fine. I didn't do any research into it. I just can't recall any of the others being that color.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the DS's that they released.
Maybe that's what it's for. It's nostalgia.
I'm also hoping that someday we get a Let's Go version of Kanto. I enjoyed Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. It was just a lot of fun. It was super good. And I would love to have a Kanto version of that.
You mean Johto?
Sorry, Johto. Yes, I was thinking Johto, Kanto. Johto, yes. Pokemon Heart Gold, Let's Go, or whatever.
Okay.
Brain, the synapses just, aren't there this week. Not doing it.
My Let's Go Gold and Let's Go Silver.
Yes. That would be wonderful. Like I'm feeling quite confident that I'm gonna go ahead and get Pokemon Let's Go Arceus. Because I really want this style of game, and I like Pokemon. I bought Let's Go Pikachu first day, played the shit out of it, loved it, enjoyed it. I'm at the point where I just have to kind of grind out and catch the last few Pokemon so that I can finish out my Pokédex and Shiny Hunt. But it's literally just going to the cave where Mewtwo is and searching the rocks up there until I get a fossil so that I can get Kabuto.
Okay. Let's talk about these other news things, because you'll be on Pokemon forever, just like I'd be on Saints Row, and we could probably talk about Halo. Maybe some of this will be a little shorter. We did, when we were talking about Halo, we talked about the fact that it's on Game Pass. Outriders is another game that was supposed to be kind of big and was on Game Pass, and Square Enix has yet to pay its royalty fee because the game hasn't made enough money to hit that for the royalty fee yet, I guess. And I'm wondering if it's because it was on Game Pass. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'll try it out because it's on Game Pass. Why not? I don't know how money works on the backside of it for devs who agree to the Game Pass stuff. So I don't know if that is part of it or not, but that means that they're not making money off of it.
I would assume that they would get, like, some kind of a percentage.
I mean, I guess so, but I guess you have to hit a certain sell amount before you get your royalty fees.
See,
and those don't count as sales, maybe?
Alright, this is how, this is more than likely how it's going to work in the contract. It's People Can Fly that made that, right?
Yes.
Okay. They get a percentage of the game sales once it breaks a certain threshold.
Yes.
Right? Microsoft gave Square Enix a lump sum to put the game on Game Pass. Now that is not game sales.
Yeah, it doesn't break
People
it
Can Fly
down
don't
into numbers.
get that. Yeah, which means the people that wanted to play it played it off of Game Pass, which do not count as sales, and the people who did actually buy it was not enough to break that threshold.
Well,
so the People Can Fly don't get it.
It's weird too because the People Can Fly president, whose first name is Sebastian and his last name is something that I will surely butcher, so I'm not going to try, said, we don't have any sales figures for Outriders. We estimate it at between 2 and 3 million units and assumed that this was the result that would ensure profitability for the project in the first quarter of sales. The lack of payment by the publisher probably means that, according to Square Enix, this is not the case. You don't even have numbers on your own game? Like, your publisher's not giving you those sales numbers? Really? Okay. That seems...
See, that makes me wonder where they're getting their sales figure. Is it how many active users that they have? Because if so, most of those could be from Game Pass, which they're not getting a cut from.
It probably is from Game Pass. Not to mention, like, I think one of the problems with Outriders, and I mentioned it as a kind of one of those things where I was hesitant about it because of this, is Outriders is a game that isn't meant to be played long term. It is you and two of your friends.
It was supposed to be.
They even said after like 6 months after launch that it was a game that they weren't planning to support forever. And that was
but you got to make you have an end game in order to create a reason to buy it and play it.
It's 3 people. It's not PvP or anything like that. It's 3 people. Here are some scenarios. Go play these scenarios for the story to play out. You're done. Online all the time. Can't play it offline. Like, it didn't have any great sales pitch to it. So I was apprehensive about it to start with, and then it was on Game Pass, and literally if you have Game Pass, just like Halo, why are you incentivized to buy a game like that? Like, if it's something that, like in this case, at least with this, it's a third-party game that's not going to forever be on Game Pass, likely. Why would you want me to buy it, though?
I see a huge issue with Game Pass and third-party games. Like, Microsoft gets all that Game Pass money and can feed their studios.
Mm-hmm.
Where you put a third-party game in there, Microsoft gives you a lump sum, all that Game Pass money still goes to Microsoft.
Yeah.
You ain't getting anything because the people on Game Pass are not buying your game.
Yeah.
And because of all the people playing it here, it spreads word of mouth, and people don't buy it.
Yeah, I mean,
they just rent
is
Game Pass.
Meant to be, for third-party games, meant to be like the promotional tool so that people will buy it on... I was gonna say PC, but I guess just on PlayStation.
I'm gonna put it in
Epic Pass option.
I'm gonna put it in an Epic Game Store style. If you give people games, if you give things away for free, people aren't gonna buy it.
Yeah. Well,
they
play
play
fair,
it for
Square
a month.
Enix is also the same company, because you got to look at their past history too. Square Enix is the same company that had a Tomb Raider game that sold 3.4 million copies, and they said it failed to hit expectations. So I mean, their expectations are pretty high, apparently. So I guess you'd have to just like knock it out of the park for it to meet Square Enix's expectations to be successful.
Ha! That I didn't even look at this top comment, by the way, on this article, but I mean, it pretty much is exactly what I said.
I wonder if Game Pass deal worked, or how it works. Could it be that Square Enix pocketed the Game Pass money for themselves? Sales went down because of Game Pass, which means they didn't have to pay for the royalties. Yes, I mean that's pretty much what we're speculating.
It feels like that would be exactly what a company would do.
Okay, and here's the flip side of it. We all talk about we have Game Pass. I have Game Pass. You have Game Pass. We'll play Halo when it comes out on Game Pass. Things like that. We're kind of feeding into the problem, but it's...
I didn't make the problem.
Well, as shitty as
they
it is,
made
it's
the
beneficial
problem.
to us because it means we're not out $60 for a game that we may or may not like. It's on Game Pass, which is on my subscription thing that I'm already paying for, so...
I buy games if they're good enough. Like
Yeah.
Anthem, I did EA Origin, and it was like I played it, beat the shit out of it. We all played it, beat the shit out of it, done with it.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
we
and
put
then it
up
died.
the Origin trial for like a 30-day trial, and we were done with it in half that time. It was just like, you didn't sell me on this enough for me to want to purchase it. But there are also other games that I could have on a Game Pass style thing, but I will still purchase because they're worth it. Like I own 2 copies of Sunset Overdrive, and I believe that one is maybe on Game Pass. It was a launch title for the Xbox One.
And I
so
still buy
think
games
it's on
too
there,
because I
but-
have Steam. Like
Yeah.
Steam does not give away shit. It barely ever gives away stuff. They give you a ton of sales, which moves a lot of product.
Yeah, and third
But
party
they don't
games
give you away
I'm
shit
probably
very
gonna
often.
buy because they're not gonna be on Game Pass forever. So I'll probably buy them on Steam unless they're console exclusives, in which case I will probably just pass because I don't play my consoles enough to justify it anymore.
Exactly.
Game
Like,
Pass is such a
I think-
weird thing. Like it's good for us and it's bad for the industry.
Yep. But that's not me. That's not up to me to fix the industry. That is up for the other companies to figure out how they're getting shafted, and then them figure it out.
Yeah. Well, in this
Because
case, it's
Game
a
Pass
publisher
works
that
for-
took the money for it, and it's not getting
Yeah.
that money is not getting back to the devs that actually made the game.
Yep. And I mean, even so, all right. Say Outriders did wonderful. Fucking people loved the shit out of it. Most popular game of the year, but people still aren't buying it
Because it's on
because
Game
it's on
Pass.
Game Pass. So your company is getting shafted no matter which way. Which Steam is super good for indie developers. You could just put it up there, early access, let people try it out, buy it, and then release it 5 or 6 years later, and it becomes super popular.
Yes.
Congratulations. Game Pass, your company's just shafted. Like, you just lose. If you work under a bigger company, the bigger company gets the money, and you just don't get anything.
Well, I don't know. We'll probably not get solid answers to anything like that. It just kind of sucks that the company that actually made the game and put in the work is not getting the royalty payouts that they probably should be.
Yeah, like I see in the future for contracts for them to be, if it goes to Game Pass, they get 50% of the lump sum,
Yeah.
because it's just one of those things where
I mean, that may be what this does, though, is it may be a catalyst to really start talking about how your subscription service should handle the back end of it and the business side of it to make sure that the developers are not getting hurt while the publishers are profiting. I mean,
yeah, because thinking about it, okay, Game Pass money goes to Microsoft. Microsoft feeds their companies. Game Pass money goes to Microsoft. Microsoft pays other big companies for their game, but that money to the big company doesn't come down. It just sits up there in Square Enix instead of going down to People Can Fly.
Yeah. Well,
So,
speaking of big companies and big products, Fortnite's in the news, obviously, because at this point, when is it not, right? But it's in the
it's
news
not as popular
because
as it
it
used to
has
be.
this imposters mode that is pretty much the exact same thing as Among Us. So-
yeah.
I don't know why anybody's surprised by this. Like, it shouldn't happen. Obviously, it's bad to rip off other people's ideas and property and things like that. But that's Fortnite's whole shtick. Like, they just steal stuff from other companies, other games, other just random media. I mean, look at half their dances. They're not stuff that they actually went out and asked if they could have that. They just said, that's popular. Let's stick it in here and sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is one of those things where it's like, man, that sucks. But at the same time, you're like, and I'm not surprised. It's just one of those news stories that got a lot of attention this week and was worth mentioning. It is, the imposters thing is exactly Among Us, though. I mean, it's...
Oh, yes. Even the map is super similar to it.
10 players, 8 agents, 2 are imposters. You have to figure out who the imposters are while they go about killing everybody, and you have meetings to try to decide who gets thrown off.
And the thing is that, yeah, it's a common game mode. No, they don't own Among Us developers don't own the right to that style, but one, it's definitely their Fortnite's game mode is definitely influenced pretty heavily, and two, the Among Us developers have been trying to get to work with Fortnite to do a collab.
Yep.
And they haven't responded, and then they just did this, so it's like, we don't need your little piddly ass. Like, you're so small, and your popularity is irrelevant now. We're just gonna do it ourselves. We don't need to bolster you. We don't get anything from you.
Yeah.
So
what the fuck are they gonna do next? Phasmophobia?
I mean,
I wouldn't be fucking surprised if they tried.
Yeah. They just take ideas. I mean, let us not forget what Fortnite was originally. It wasn't even a BR, but PUBG got really popular, and they're like, let's try that while we try to supplement our game that we're trying to make, which was a builder zombie shooter, essentially, co-op game.
Which was a ton of fun, by the way.
Yeah. And then they said, owner. You know what, let's scrap this thing that we've already had founders pay $60 for, because Fortnite's gonna get popular because we can base it on PUBG now. Yeah. And it did. It did exactly that. Most of Fortnite's crowd currently, you could probably ask if they know what Fortnite started as, and they don't. They'll tell you it was a BR. It wasn't. But that's just Fortnite's MO. Stop being shocked by it. I mean, I'd like to expect better, but it's made by Epic, and we know what that is now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
which is not great. Not great. And of course, we've got to end the show on not great news. But in other not great stuff, California has said that Riot misled their staff about their right to speak out on harassment and discrimination. They had an NDA that implied that they weren't allowed to speak to any government agencies or anything on harassment or anything of that nature. And
well, it was what California Department of whatever it is, DFEH said that the employees were suggested that they are not allowed to discuss issues that regarding the NDA that were on the lawsuit side of it with the government. Right? It's like, we never said anything like that. Don't worry, we never said that. And they California was like, you're going to have to release a letter to all your employees that says that any problems they are allowed to discuss with the California state government.
Yeah.
So,
well,
just to make sure that you clarify it.
California said that, and then Riot's like, okay, and then delayed sending that out. So now that's why it's a big deal now, is because they're basically like, look, you never sent this out, so now it has to be a lawsuit. I mean, we gave you a chance to rectify it on your side of it, and you've chosen not to for some reason after you said you would. So that is where we are at with it now, with the notices being sent now that it's become serious, so that they can kind of be like, yeah, you can willingly talk to them. You don't have to be compelled to. You can just tell them if you want to, I guess.
Exactly, because by law, an NDA cannot protect somebody against an illegal activity. People normally, when they sign an NDA, they get a bunch of money, and if they break it, they have to give the money back. But that doesn't mean that they could charge criminal charges against you if you watched him murder somebody and they had you sign an NDA. Then you go and tell the police, you have to give the money back, but they can't file
They can't file
it's a crime. Yeah, it's a crime. There are so many ways to kind of work through that. It's just, a lot of people think the NDA means that you cannot disclose anything that has to do with that at all. But illegal activities you can disclose because it's illegal activity and the government is here to protect the people.
Yeah.
So they say.
Well, yeah, so they say.
So they say.
People come out, act right. What's wrong with you? No home training.
No home training.
It's true. There's just a bunch of people being assholes. No common courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much the news. Next week's news is gonna be... I mean, we got Gamescom this week, so it's gonna be interesting, I think. We'll probably at least be talking about Saints Row in the foreseeable future.
Oh, yes.
But beyond that, I mean, I'm gonna leave here, edit the podcast, and try to finish Mass Effect. That's my plan. I probably should have planned, and speaking of planning, I probably should have planned this outro a little better, but you know I never do.
Nope,
So,
let's do it.
we appreciate everyone who checks us out every week. Things that Oak Tree says. You can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out at Grif Slynum. You can check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
And Baka.
Baka Pickle.
Yeah. Some more stuff that Oak Tree normally says. Some things. Oh, I have a YouTube. I'll link to that down below. You can go and subscribe and watch. I'll be making videos probably next month or the month after again. Because summer is a hard time for me. Especially summer with the new baby. It's been weird. Chicken will probably start streaming roughly the same time when we have a little more time. You can find him on Twitch. Twitch.tv/EliteChicken313.
Mm-hmm.
Oak is on Twitch now. Well, I mean, not right this second, but he streams currently on Twitch pretty regularly. You can find him twitch.tv/MDBOaktree. There'll be links to all of that down below, as well as our Discord. Join our Discord, talk to us. We're not as scary as you might think, except for me. I am exactly what you would think. But yeah, I think that covers it. I'm going to go and do some chores and edit a podcast and maybe get some resolution to Mass Effect. So, for Infinite Respawn, I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Baka.
Bye!
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.